Okay, good evening, everybody. Once again, I'm very excited to be talking to all of you today, and I hope this session is going to be a very, very interesting one for all of us and a very interactive session as well. So, uh, the reason why Areeta is organizing this webinar, uh, titled Smart Woman, Smart Business, and then focusing on the idea of structure for business is something that we've carefully thought through. And we are starting with structure for business because a whole lot of business owners still struggle with this, especially when they're looking to scale, right? And this night, we have two very experienced speakers that would be sharing their insights in their respective businesses, how they grew those businesses from the beginning up until where they are right now. So I'm going to focus mainly on talking about Areeta, and then we'll also demo the product to show you what the product actually does. So what's the idea behind Areeta? Areeta is we're building an ecosystem, and it's a tool that actually allows for you to invoice your customer. Please confirm you can see my screen. The shared screen. Okay, fantastic. So we're building an ecosystem and a tool to help business owners grow while staying in control. So we're talking about structure today, and you can't really do structure without also having control over your business. And within the next few minutes I have with me, I'm going to show you how with Areeta you can start to lay the foundation for control of your business. And if you have control, you have control over your money, over your customers, and then ultimately over. Somebody says your screen is blank. Please, I can't see anything. Can others see my screen, or it's also a blank screen? Hope, can you see my screen? It's blank.
I can see your screen from here.
No, the shared screen, not of my
Yes,
face.
your share screen. It's visible on this end.
All right, so I think I'm just going to. Okay, I'm going to proceed from here. Okay, so the idea is for you to be able to have control of your money. That's what's coming in and what's going out of your business, your customers, your operations as well. And we noticed that so many business owners, especially in this parts of the world, a lot of people don't take into consideration that the data, maybe the buying trends of your customers is something that you can convert into more sales in the future. For example, every time somebody comes to buy something from your place, from your business, maybe they come to get a particular product. Let's say you're selling, you run a restaurant, for example, and each time a particular customer comes, he likes to buy jollof rice, and the customer just loves jollof rice. But you know that in your head, but there is no place where you actually have that data stored, or you don't have any place where you've recorded that let's say Joy likes to buy jollof rice. And because you know that Joy likes to buy jollof rice, I think it would make a whole lot of sense that even if Joy does not come to buy something from your place in 2 months, you can still reach out to Joy and tell them, "Oh, Joy, we can give you a plate of jollof rice for uh, at a discounted price, maybe 20% off." And today we are talking about structure once again, and the only way you'd be able to do something like what I've just spoken about is by having a place where you actually record this data, so that even if you're not there, some other person has access to that information and can proactively reach out to your customers in order to improve or boost sales in your business. So we've actually started Areeta by focusing on just one simple aspect, which is generating invoices. So we have a product out on the app and Play Store, which is called Areeta Invoice Gen. And the idea is very simple. If you're looking to invoice your customer, and I mean, this is open to freelancers, social media managers, people that are into photography, video editing, as long as you earn a business, whether it's service-based or you're selling products, you can actually use Areeta Invoice. And sometimes customers could easily reach out to you and they require that you send an invoice to them immediately. But then other times you might have to go to Canva or go to Figma, for those of you that know Figma, or some people even type manually on WhatsApp. They type their invoice to their customers on WhatsApp. And honestly, if you're sending your breakdown to a customer an invoice, that is just not professional. If you're looking to actually scale how your business and come off looking professional, it makes sense that you have, even if it's a template, a branded template, something that carries your logo or your business name, so that when you send it to them, you look professional. It makes your business look a lot more professional and a lot more organized, right? So these are some of the things you need to pay attention to, and that's what Areeta is also solving with Invoice Gen. So again, if you're typing messages on WhatsApp, it's time consuming, or using design tools, it's very time consuming. And it makes it very difficult for you to track the sales. Imagine 30 or 50 people texted you on Monday trying to place orders and all of that. If that happened on WhatsApp and you wanted to go back and like look over all the sales that you had, or even Instagram, it's going to be very stressful, right? So you need a dedicated tool that allows for you to easily see what's happening in your business. So what does control actually mean? So for us at Areeta, control means knowing what's coming in and what's going out of your business. So please, at this point, I just want to see thumbs up just to know that others are following along. Okay, let me see some thumbs up. Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to proceed. So control over your operations. I think some of the other speakers will talk about structure, mostly in the area of operations. Control over your customers. Earlier on, I spoke about knowing the buying trends of your customers, what they like to buy. So if you have the records of your customer in one place, and you've also recorded the things they've come to purchase from you, over time, you actually have a place that you can run analysis on. And you can run an analysis on your data to maybe target those customers on certain products that you already know that they're interested in. So control over your growth. And I've already spoken about data. So if you have all of this in one place, it's easier for you to scale. You have 100 customers, you know what they like to buy. You can easily market those things to them, or even market other things that complement what they have already purchased from you. So it would be a very nice idea to know, maybe through the chat box, the different businesses that we all run. So whether you own a baking business, you can write it in the chat box, and or any kind of business that you do, it'd It'd be great to see that on the chat box, please. Okay. So while that's going on, I'm just going to proceed. So what does Areeta Invoice Gen actually help you do? It helps you create and send professional invoices, keep track of your payments and customers. I think over the course of my presentation, I've mentioned that it's important for you to record and have a place where you keep record of your customers and also the things that they've purchased from you. Areeta Invoice Gen also allows for you to record your business daily and occurring expenses, which is very, very important if you're really looking to grow. And I think at this point, while others are dropping the kind of businesses they do, we have Kings and Paul, who does baking. Okay. Can others just drop in what they do? Someone is a graphic designer. Okay. Okay, somebody owns a bakery. Okay, Sarah. Interesting. Fashion accessories. Okay. So you see, most of the things that we've listed out here are people that could potentially download and use Areeta to generate invoices for their customer. Say somebody comes to design a flyer with you, Ms. Salome. Somebody comes to do that. You can easily just use the tool to generate an invoice and you're good to go. I'm going to be sharing my screen shortly on my mobile device. So for everybody that's here, you can actually head down to the Play or App Store. Hope, please, can you share the link on the chat box on the group chat? You can all head down to the Play and App Store to download the app now. You can search for Areeta Invoice Gen. So I'm sharing my screen from another device. Please, you can, I don't know if you can all see that other device. It's a mobile device.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So if you all head to the Play or App Store, let's just go to the App Store. So this is sharing my screen from an iPhone. So you can just search Areeta Invoice Gen, like that, Invoice and GEN. It's the first one here. So this is what it looks like. You download and then the sign up process is very simple. So I've already downloaded the app. So I'm going to proceed to talk to you all about how to generate an invoice from the app. So once you sign up, you verify your email, set up your business, provide your bank details. So the idea of the bank details is a place, is to allow for your customers to be able to make payments into that bank account, or to also have your bank details available on the invoice so payment can be made to you. So for example, if I just downloaded the app, first thing I would do is, come into product and then start adding the different products I have, or whether it's services, a service-based product, or it's a physical product for sale. I can select the product type. So the product name is, let's say, bread. Okay. And this is a physical product and it's for 2,500. And let's say cost price is 1,500. You can write some description if you want, or you can just proceed. Okay, so we have bread here. And for the sake of this presentation, I'm going to pick one person. Let's see. Let's say Sarah. Sarah, since she owns a bakery, I will create a customer here called Sarah. So Sarah, then last name, let's just say K, right? Then the person's phone number. I'm just going to put a random phone number here because, I mean, I don't want to share people's personal details. So you create the customer. Now, what this simply does for you is you have a place where you actually have a list of all your customers. You can see we have a list of some customers here. We have a list of products here, right? Now, if I wanted to generate an invoice, on the home screen, I can easily click on this plus icon here, and then it takes me to this interface where I can select a customer. So I can select Sarah K, and then the invoice date. Say she wants to buy the bread today, and I want her to pay maybe today or tomorrow is the latest she has to pay me. Then I can go ahead and select from a list of the products. Say she's buying uh, 10 loaves of bread, right? I can pick that, then add the product. Down here, I can see that 10 loaves at 2,500 is 25,000 naira. I could decide to include VAT or not, and then continue to template. Then we have a whole lot of template. I mean, we have 3 templates now. We intend to add more templates as time goes on. So you can select anyone. For example, this classic template, you select it and then you generate the invoice. So you can see with a few steps now we have an invoice that we can share with a customer. So you can easily download and share. And once you click download and share, you can send it to your customers on WhatsApp. So I'm going to just send it to this this number. Now you can see if I zoom in, you can see the person this was built to. It was built to Sarah K, and then the name of the company that generated the invoice, the item the customer bought, and the price and all the details. You can also see the bank details and some contact information. So once you send this to the person on WhatsApp, they can now follow up from there and then make payment. So it's just as simple as those few steps I've shown you. And on your interface here, you can see that you have 2,500 pending. If you go on your analytics, you can see easily your total invoice, outstanding invoice, total paid, and the average payment time. So you can see a list of people that are owing you easily from this interface, and you can actually follow up. So if I see that this is overdue, all I just need to do is click on it and then follow up with the customer, maybe call them or however other means I can follow up to get my payment. Let's say this person actually paid for this bread. How do we go from there? You can come to record payments and then whether they paid cash, transfer, or POS, and confirm the payment. And just like that, you have 25,000 naira recorded on the system as a sale you have made. So you can see today is Saturday. There's a sale of 25,000 naira recorded there. So this just makes it very easy for you to keep an eye on what's actually happening with your business, whether you're doing it alone or you have an employee or somebody that is actually recording or generating these invoices for you. So I'm just going to move as quickly as possible, but for everybody that has been listening to me so far, you really just need to go ahead and download the app. No, the templates are not paid. So everything on the app right now, once you sign up, you're on a free plan. So you can generate invoices, select from the templates you have available there, and just keep generating the invoice. So we're putting out Invoice Gen as a tool that actually gives business owners control. So for now, it's not a paid, there's no paid version yet. So you can go ahead and download it. And for expenses, you're able to record your expenses from the app. And we have a whole catalog of expense categories available. So let's say you want to record expense for today. You can choose from some categories, say office supplies and so on. Let's say utilities. Maybe you paid some bills, like some electricity bills. Maybe you bought 5,000 naira bill for your outlet or maybe for your house. Then you can record that. And from here, you can easily see that, okay, you recorded 5,000 naira. You can add another one, maybe transportation. When you were going to go and do an installation, you spent, to go and deliver the bread, you spent 1,000 naira on transportation, bread, delivery. Yeah, that. And you can easily see everything that's happening, the dates those expenses actually happened. And so, as I said, we're starting with this. And we'd love for all of you to be a part of this journey, to use the tool as much as you can. And while we build other parts of the ecosystem where you'd be able to actually do analysis on the kind of product your customers like to buy and how you can actually make more money from the data you're putting into Areeta. So I think at this point I've covered uh, everything. So I just want to leave the floor open to anybody who has questions. Please feel free to um, ask questions.
Hello, everyone. I'm supposed to speak also, but I have a very important question.
Okay,
So,
go.
if you run multiple businesses, say you have two businesses, can you use one Areeta account to record for two businesses? Say, for example, you sell bread, but you also have another skincare business that you sell, skincare. You understand? Because in Nigeria, and a lot of people do multiple things. So can you use one Areeta account to record this and can it help you track the growth of each of your products that are selling, like concurrently, or does it just now put everything together as one business?
So at the moment, we've actually taken that into consideration. We are able to. That's one of the reasons why once you're setting up your profile, you set up a business, right? So in the next update we are making, we'll make it possible that you can create another business on the same account. So let's say you sign up with jennifer@gmail.com and you want to have two businesses on that account, it's possible. The alternative would be to use another email to create another business specific to what another email specific to what that business is going to do, and they'll just be completely independent of one another. But that is something that we're taking into consideration. That maybe from a button up here, you can easily switch to the other business. Although the free plan actually allows for you to work with just one business per account. So if you're looking to run multiple businesses, then that's something that could be available on a paid plan. So that's just what it is at the moment.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, someone said, can this help with tax calculations? So at the moment, it doesn't do tax calculation as well, but it does give you a place where you actually see the total amount of money you're making in your business and your total expense. Then I think from there you can actually use it to calculate your taxes. But it's something that we can always explore as well. Since your data is already in one place where you record your sales and expenses. Yeah, does that answer your question, P? Okay, so I think we can just proceed, Hope, and maybe if anybody has more questions as they download and interact with the app, we're available to we're available to answer this question. So yeah, Pierre, I was just saying that the app doesn't actually support the tax calculations directly, but because you have your sales within the app, you're able to see the total amount of money made and the total expenses made as well. So that is something that you can then use to go ahead to generate your the taxes you need to pay. Do you handhold small companies, startups? What do you mean, please? Do you mean do we coach companies and startups? Okay. I think we could probably have a conversation about that after this session. All right. Thank you.
Sorry, let me just set up my camera so that you can also see my face. Sorry,
All
yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Oladimeji, and I'm the creative director and founder of Iruka Fashion, amongst other things. But yes, Iruka Fashion for today. So I didn't prepare slides for this because I was just asked to, speak a few words. So please, if you can just note down the key points and the things that, really related to or relate to your situation as an entrepreneur or as someone that wants to start a business, just please do. And if you have any questions for me, just, pen them down and I'll be more than, willing to answer your questions to the best of my capability. So with no further ado, let me just get right into it. But first, if you can hear me clearly, please just drop an emoji so I know that, I'm being heard. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. So today, I'm specifically going to talk about, turning your ideas into businesses and also into profitable businesses, because it's really important that you're making profits in business, because it's really frustrating if you don't make profits in business. Trust me, you probably shut down, abandon it, or even carry on with the lie that people in that business don't make money, they don't make sales, is a dead end or something like that. So how many of us are already into a business? Just give like an emoji, like you've already started your business actively. Okay, Anita has indicated that she's running her business actively. Okay, Salome. All right, Agolinda. Okay, so how many of us are also like, do we have anybody here that is still thinking, you are still planning that, I will start this business maybe this year or something? Can you indicate whether you are doing 9 to 5 or something, but you shall want to start something on the side just to have something else? Can you also indicate that? Okay, Ajayi, thank you very much for indicating. All right, Nafisa, thank you. So that means this is going to be very helpful for everybody, both people that are already in business and those that are yet to start their businesses. So the first thing that I would say is, to understand the industry that you want to dive into. That's the first thing that you need to do. I know people will say, oh, why do you do it? You have to know the problem you are solving. Before you can know the problem you are solving, you first have to understand whatever industry, whether it's baking, graphics design, fashion design, whatever thing, even if it's to sell juice, like to sell homemade juice, food prep, even if it's to sell digital products, you have to understand the industry and how it works. So that way, you won't just come and just feel like, oh, because you like. So one of the first mistakes that a lot of people make in business is that, and I made those mistakes too. I'm teaching you from my experience. So one of the mistakes that people make is that because you feel like you like red, you think everybody is going to like red. So in your head, you're like, there's no way people, when you make red clothes, people will not like red. Or maybe because you are someone that you like, bread with a lot of sugar, you feel like everybody is going to like bread with a lot of sugar. And then you don't study the times and the seasons to understand that now people are trying to work on their health, people are trying to eat healthy, people are trying to avoid some things. So you now go in and you start baking or you start producing some kind of things that are very unhealthy, very sugary to the health of people, because you believe that like the days of old, that's how people are still eating it. Before you know, you start seeing that if somebody should buy once, they'll probably not come back again. And you don't understand why that is happening because you've not studied the industry that you just, threw yourself into, put your money, put everything. So before you put your money to do anything, take time to do your research, understand what that industry entails, understand how you come in, because when you understand what it entails, then you now know how you come in and what you can do for that industry to make a change, to make a difference, and to solve a problem. Please, if you are following up to this point, can I get an emoji? If you've heard everything I said up to this point, all right, thank you so much. So moving forward, I would always advise that when you find the problem you want to solve, and then you ask a few people, maybe friends, people close to you and all of that, take what is, it's valuable and really drop what is not. Because one of the major mistakes, I made in business is to allow people's opinion to sway my ideas. So let me break that down. When you seek validation, so much validation from so many people, for example, say God has given you an idea that, oh, you should be making maternity dresses, or you should be making free dresses for people, like free size, like boo-boo dresses. That's really the idea God gave to you that you should start your business with, and as it relates to every other business. So I'm just using fashion because those are the terminologies that I know very well. So say that's the idea God has given you, and you've done your research, you understand the industry, there's a market for it, you are trying to solve a problem also, and all of that. And then a friend just shows up and is like, no, me, I don't think that thing we sell. For me, I think all these corsets now, that's what is selling. I don't think that is what will sell. You need to know, you need to be able to trust, your source. You need to trust God in your business and trust that whatever it is that you have researched, and the results that you have acquired, you need to trust the process. Sometimes that's all you have. You just have to trust the process, because if this person comes to me and say, no, it's concept that will sell, and you abandon your vision and everything that you have planned, your, strategies, everything, you abandon all of them, you run to that person's idea, chances are another person will come and say, no, corset care. Me, I hate corset. I can't even wear it. If I wear it, I don't eat in events. For me, I feel like it's all these shorts, all these shirt and top that is selling now. And then you abandon that one. Before you know, you are neither here nor there. So you don't spend enough time on one thing to be able to create a brand identity for yourself. So you're like, if this one say is even this thing, to just short tops that are raining now, you follow it. So careful what you follow and who you follow. Careful that you are not, caught up in trends and you are now lost. You don't even know your own identity. Which brings me to the third point. Do well to create a brand identity for yourself. Let people know what your brand is about. If you are a bakery that, you people make like the best cakes, let people know that when you have birthday, do it so well that when people have birthday, they are like, oh yes, so it's Amaka's cakes that you have to shop from. As long as it's birthday, wedding, anniversary, my God, you can't miss her cake. That her cake top notch. It's not that cake you are not good. Bread, you did not do it well. You want to do egg roll, meat pie, those ones, they don't come out very well. So it's almost like you are just a baker. There's really no reason why we should shop with your bakery, because you're just another bakery that opened down the road. So take your time. Creating brand identity is a very slow process. Yes, I'm not going to lie to you, because it means it's slow and sometimes it's boring, because your mind will be telling you that, oh, do this, no, do this other thing. Explore your ideas, show yourself. I spent a lot of time, doing that. When I first started out in fashion, there were so many trends. You see people like Vicky James, they are creating their designs. You see other people that are also doing like ready to wear, corporate wears. So sometimes your mind will tell you that you can do all of them. And sometimes we even back it up with scripture. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And so you begin to do all of them. Today you are making corsets. Tomorrow you are in corporate. The next day you are in boo-boo gowns and all of that. And what it did to me is that it slowed me down, because It's as if like people come and what they want is what you have to make. So you don't have a personality. They don't know you for anything. They cannot remember you. You are not a household name because they can't remember that, oh, you are that person that makes wedding dresses. They can't remember that for birthdays, just hit this person up. She will never miss a birthday outfit and stuff. They can't remember because you don't have an identity, that you have created. So learn from my mistake. Create a brand identity. If you are a bakery, if it's the best bread that is in town that you will be creating, the softest bread, the bread that can last 3 days and it will still be okay for you to eat it somehow. Focus on it. Do it very well. If it's that your pastries, everything, meat pie, egg roll, everything is well stuffed. The only meat pie that when you open it, there is actual meat. There is everything inside. Do it very, very well. And let people know that if you crave meat pie, just go to her. If you are craving egg roll, her own top notch. You can never open it and the dough is half done or something. Just go to her. So it's really important to create brand identity. And that way, once you get your people, trust me, your people will stay with you and your people will advertise for you. They will start telling people that, like, they will be the ones that will tell people that anything birthday, anything pastry, I'm sorry about that, anything pastry or anything like that, just go to this person. And before you know it, you become a household name. That's how people become household names. Don't say you're a bakery, but sometimes you cook rice in location inside your bakery name. Not that you are not a caterer, not that you have two businesses, a catering business and a bakery business. So inside your bakery business, just that bakery business, you are baking pastry. So but sometimes if business is somehow, you cook rice. Sometimes too, you can serve beans. When people come to buy the meat pie, what they will see there is beans and spaghetti. It won't really take the business far, trust me. So that is that. So yes, let's go to the next point. Never feel like you know everything. This is one of the things I also see that affects a lot of us entrepreneurs. Once you go to the first training and they teach you some things, you feel like you know everything. So you feel like there's no need for you to learn something new. Like bringing Areeta into this, into these particular points. For example, some people will say there's a way their madam that taught them the work used to record her sales. Now there's a new software. There's something better that you can use. But instead of, like developing yourself, instead of growing, you prefer to continue doing it the way your madam used to do it. And you don't even know that maybe your madam too, if she sees this opportunity, she will jump on it, she will learn. So never feel like, oh, there's no need for me to read more, learn more. Always be hungry for knowledge. Always seek for more. Always, once if this person has taught you, don't just settle and be like, yes, that lady talked about it, and that's enough for you to carry on in life. No. Learn from another person, even if it's on the same topic, even if it's you know how to make bread, but you see someone else that makes better bread. Learn from the person. Be willing to learn. See, let me tell you something. And one thing that happens to us creatives across board is that we always feel like we will figure it out with time. You can dabble your way through it. And what this does here is waste your time. And time is such an important, commodity in the business, of life. You will just be, imagine if someone could have easily taught you how to bake professional bread, profitable. There's a difference between making homemade bread that you and your family will eat and making bread and actually selling enough to make profit out of it. Because that means you have to calculate each ounce, every ingredient, the measurements. You have to measure it carefully so that it can match how much you are selling the bread per loaf. So if you feel like, oh, no, I can already bake bread, I'll just figure it out. I just know how to do it, that everything will just, add up. Everything will just come together and I'll just, blow in this business. You realize that you have wasted the first 2 years. You made bread. Maybe first of all, the bread that you're making is too thick. People are not used to that. It's not that it's bad. It's just that it's your homemade bread. It's too thick. People are not used to that. They don't even like it. They prefer the ones that they buy that is a bit light on the inside. And then you first be like, what's people's problem? Blah, 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 blah. But because you don't want to learn, then secondly, you will be selling and maybe selling at a loss. Or if you want to make profit with your very complete, the way you are doing your own at home, you have to sell it so expensive. So let's say bread is going for 1-2 per loaf outside. You will not be selling 2-5 because you are who that will buy. So because it's your branch, your home, you should not buy by force. So you have to be willing to learn from people. Don't always say it's not everything that you just be like, I just figure it between now and June, I would have learned how to produce that thing. And I'll do it by myself. What's DSF? What are they even doing? That's a very wrong mentality to operate with. You will not go far with that. In fact, you will just be, let's say something that was supposed to take you 1 month to handle, sort out. You realize that you spent 1 year. And that 1 year, you're still trying to learn it because every time a customer buys, they will call you. You people will fight. You people will be like, Madam, what I bought is wrong. And you'll be like, Madam, you don't know about this business. I know my business. I know my class. I know my place. Before you know, you've lost one client and you tell yourself that, I beg, another one will come, Jare. So be willing to learn. Really be willing to learn. It will take you far. Like learn. Any room you enter, ask questions. Even in this webinar, you can't be spending your data. You are spending your money. Your data is anyhow, you didn't pay for it, but you recharge, you subscribe now. So there's no need to be here. And then you have questions and you tell yourself that I'll figure it out. I already know it, Jare. What do I want to ask them? Let me just forget that thing. I don't want everyone to hear my voice. If they don't hear your voice in the world that we are now, you'll not make money. That's just it. Anyways, if you follow up to this point, please give me an emoji or something. Let me just know that I still have people here. Okay, thank you. Okay, so another advice, another key point that affects a lot of entrepreneurs is taking business advice from people that don't do business. It kills your business flat. When you decide that you want to take business ideas, business advice, not even ideas, let's even give ideas because they can have their imaginations, advice, how to run your business, prices to sell your products from people that don't do business. Because what happens is they advise you based on what is comfortable for them. So say, for example, someone in a small income bracket, and you go, is your friend, your bestie, but she does not do business. She's a 9-to-5 babe. She probably works in a bank, just starting up her own stuff and all. And you go to her, maybe you want to start selling hair. Yes, let me use hair because hair is a kind of a luxury commodity. You want to start selling very good human hair. And then you go to this, your friend, she has a small bracket, a small income bracket. And then you start telling her that you want to start a hair business. You've saved up, your capital, you have enough, you want to ship hairs and you'll be selling them at this so rate. Maybe if you buy for 300,000, you sell the hair at maybe, 500,000, just the way other people are doing it and stuff. Your friend will advise you based on where she is in life. Your friend will immediately tell you that, no, as somebody that's about to start, you will not make profit. You will not see clients. People will not buy from you. No, what I'll tell you, I'll advise you to advise. Either you'll be buying hair blend. First of all, hair blend is not bad. Some people, like it, but that's not your vision. That's not what you planned for your business. Now, your friend has now started bringing, and there's so much power in your mind. Like your mind is the powerhouse of everything that happens in reality. So when somebody can break you here, they can immediately scatter whatever it is that you want to do or invest on. And your friend will start telling you that, no, for me, you can be selling hair blend. At least that one is cheap. You can see the ones of 50,000. 60,000, sell it like that. If you buy for 50,000, you sell it 55,000. 5,000 is something. At least is something. It's better than staying. Any advice that comes with at least, run. In fact, just run. So like they will start being like, no, at least that 5,000 is something. You can gather it. If you sell 20, just do the math. 5,000 naira times 20. Your friend does not know about variable cost. Your friend does not know about fixed cost. Your friend doesn't know that when you add up your variable cost and your fixed cost, that's how you can, and now add your markup, that's how you get your selling price. Your friend does not know that they will calculate transportation and all those things. So even if she's like, hey, you can sell the luxury hair, but she will tell you that if you buy for 300K, 500,000, that's too much now. Are you not trying to kill people like this? For me, I'll just say add 25K on top. 325 is okay. You shipped the hairs. Let's say you ship from Vietnam, you pay transportation. Maybe you probably pay people that will turn into a wig for you. You pay people that will do the ventilation for you into closures and frontals. And at the end of the day, this person, because she knows nothing about business, is telling you that any small thing, just put on top. And truly, it's not a bad advice. She's just advising you based on where she is, which is why you need to be very, even if it's family members. I made this mistake a lot. So, like, you will make a dress, and then you not be thinking about how much you want to sell the dress, and you will ask maybe a family member, a friend, something. They will tell you based on what they can afford. They will never tell you based on what the market is saying. They will just tell you based on if it's extra 25,000 that they can afford on that dress plus the cost of producing it. That's what they will tell you to sell it. And because they are the people you know and you listen to, you just be like, well, maybe they are your target audience, and you will even reduce the money so that they can buy it. After a long run, you realize that you are not making any profit. You are just doing charity work. You are buying products and selling with no profit to people, and everybody is like, thank you. And when I used to do this thing, people used to buy three. They can order for 3 dresses, 4 at once, because you are selling at stupid prices, like unprofitable. They know. The people that are buying, they know that it's mumu market. They know, so they don't want to buy one, so that in case you grow sharp, they would have had like maybe 10 outfits from your business or 10 products from your brand. So they quickly order multiple. Now the lie you will be telling yourself and the devil will be affirming with you is that at least you are selling more than one. When people buy, they always buy more than one. But you don't know that out of that 10 that you sold, you did not make up to profit for one of the products. So don't take business advice from people that don't do business. They cannot tell you anything that will move you forward. They can give you ideas, but not advice, especially sales advice. Please be careful about this so that you don't run yourself down. Now, let's move to the next point. Please don't ever, it's okay to learn from people. It's okay to come online. When you go on Instagram, there are so many things that, are there. You see people that are where you wish to be. You see people that are also starting out like you. You see people that, starting small, people that are starting small, people that are also using a lot of money to launch into the business that you are still counting kobo for. Don't learn from people. Learn from, who you want to be like. Have that person that you want to be like. Have that person that you want to, learn, not copy, not like mimic, like you anything copy and paste. No, learn. You can learn from what they are doing step by step, but don't condemn yourself and ever feel like this person has already taken up all the space in this our industry. There's nothing I can do here. There's a way. When you start a business and when you are running a business, that's why I ask for people that are yet to start and people that are actually running the business. When you start a business, there's a way you will watch people that are already there so much, it will get overwhelming. It will almost feel like, when will I get to this point? How many sales do I have to make to get to this point? Who do I have to get to invest in me to get to this point? So if you don't curb that, that feeling, you start having imposter syndrome, like you can't do it. You can't do it. It's better you leave this thing now that is still early and enter another side. So careful the angle that you are, watching your role models from. Careful the angle, careful the perspective, so you don't start talking yourself down and feeling like you can never get there. And once you feel like that, please cancel that feeling. Please rule out that feeling immediately. You will get there. it is gradually. It took them years to, even if it took them months, everybody's journey is different. Okay. Some people will not come and tell you that, oh, they got a loan or somebody invested in them. Some people will not tell you. Some of us are literally starting business. Some of us started businesses with zero capital. Like, you had to wait on the first purchase to gather that money and then buy fabrics for the next purchase. So the way you started your journey and the way they started their journey might not be the same. So calm down, learn the lessons, and don't overwhelm yourself and talk down on yourself and feel like there's no room for me here. Let me just abandon it altogether. Keep moving. Like they say, now who quits will lose. So just keep moving. You will get there. Definitely. And so, yes, the next one, my time is already going, but yeah, basically, next one, you need to take keeping track record very serious in business, because like I said, the reason why I first said that last point is because when you don't keep track of your growth, your records and stuff, you feel like you're not doing anything. But when you have like an app like Areeta, for example, where you can, when I first started out, I didn't know, that was like 6 years ago, 5 to 6 years ago. I didn't quite know any app that we use to document sales and things like that. So even when I was making losses, I didn't even know that we're not making profit. Oh, this thing is more of a loss game. I didn't know, because I didn't have any place that would document. So when people ask for, at first I didn't even used to send invoice. I would just tell somebody that, okay, your dress costs, so amount, and the person will pay. Maybe you just is your normal account that you're using. So you just withdraw out what you used to buy the fabric. When you get to the market, maybe you now saw shoe that you like. At least you made sale today now. You now buy the shoe. Then when you come back, you now start asking yourself that where is the money in your account? That's where some people are right now. That's what some people are battling right now. Always asking themselves, where did the money in your account go? So it's important to use software tools like Areeta, because they will help you keep track of your records, and you can see your best sellers. You know that this is the products that sold the most this month. This is maybe what do we do to push the products more so people will buy more of it, and you will see the product that is not doing very well. You will see what people are seeking for. Even as a graphic designer, I know you might be asking yourself, oh, how does this relate to me? But you will see if it is church poster that people are asking for the most. You will shall see that, oh, church poster seems to be your selling point right now. Maybe you need to even advance the way you create church posters now. If it's maybe product design, like maybe what they call it, thank you cards or things like that, packaging bag design that is coming for you very well. You will also know that, okay, for the past 3 months, we've been getting a lot of packaging bag designs. So that means we probably need to enhance how we do it, create a package, tell people that if you get thank you card, packaging bags and another thing, we give you so discounts and all of that. So maybe you need to improve the timing of delivery. If you used to take like 2 weeks to deliver the product, you will now see that, okay, you need to now be taking 7 days because the orders are coming. You understand? So you need to know that this is what your selling point is for a period of time, and also know when to introduce another one. And also another thing that products like Areeta will help you do is that when someone, say you have maybe an uncle, let's start from there, maybe a family, a relative that eventually picks interest in your business and is like, everybody now is looking for where to invest, where to put money that they will get money back. So maybe the person sees your business that, oh, this business has been here for a while and is looking good, and the person wants to invest. Now they will ask you some questions. Okay, what's your revenue per quarter? If you don't have anywhere that you have recorded it accordingly, that you can show them, it's not word of mouth. You can show the person that, okay, this is the statement of all our invoices, this is the total, this and that, this is what we spend per production. If you don't have anything like that, the person will look at you like, this one is not yet serious. So it's like the business is just for now, for this time being. But if you have something that you can show them, you sound really smart, like, oh yes, we made so figure in from between the month of January to March, we're able to make this and that and that and that. At first, our expenses per product was so amount, but now we're able to reduce it because we saw that this is what was really eating our money. We're able to like cut it down, slash it, so that our profits will be higher, profit margin can increase. One thing, this is the profit we make per product. Your uncle or your friend or whoever it is that is willing to invest in you will immediately see that there's something here. Even if they will invest small, but they will see that, okay, this person has sense, you know what you are doing, you know where you are going to. So it's also important for that. Another reason why you need softwares like, Areeta is because if you want to, say you don't have any uncle, maybe you're even the person that is trying to break poverty in your generation. Now you want to go and take loan in a bank or somewhere. They will ask you for things like this. If you can provide them, there are some loans that they can give to you as, an SME. There are some loans they can give to you, to use and push your business forward. You understand me? And it makes it easier. It makes you look real and reliable. So even to your own brain, when your brain is seeing that you people are see the record of what you are doing, this is what people are doing, your own brain too will be thinking of more ways that you can create the same result, like create better results from your profits and things like that. And another thing, it will also, help you do, of course, is you will know if you hire someone like an auditor or something, the person will help you know, is the business growing? Abi, you are just doing church work here, charity organization. What do we need to do? Some people, you don't know you are spending a lot of fuel. You don't know how much you are spending on fuel, that each production is costing you up to 5 to 6 liters of fuel. You don't know. You don't know that the office data that your staff, they are using it to watch film. You said you are the one using it to watch film. Your office, you claim that it's office data is coming out from your business. But everything, all the series they are producing, you have watched all of them on the office data. It's not Instagram orders that you're using it to take. You don't know. It's eating your money, but you don't know. So when you don't have records, you don't know that you spent 100,000 naira on data because you are doing it 225. You don't know. When you now see things like this, you now know that, oh my God, this is what we are spending on this. No. We have to cut that down. We have to cut that down. No. It must, maybe you cut it down to 30,000. It must last for a month. It must last. So you can keep track of all these things. And that brings me, to my second to the final point. If you can keep track of these things, it now it grows you into structure and being able to scale. So when you have a track, let's say, for example, most of us in Nigeria, most young people that nobody gave you millions to start business. You started first as a one-man business. So it is when you can keep track of your income, everything that is coming in, your expenses, you will now know if you can afford to hire a second person. And if you can still not afford to hire another person, you will know the reason why. What is eating the money? If the clients are now coming, what is eating the money? You will know how to cut that down. And if it's to slash the money you spend on fuel and slash the money you spend on data, use it as salary for maybe to hire like an accountant or the most important staff that you need, maybe a production assistant and stuff like that. You do that, and when you keep all these records, it will also help you to know when it's time to scale, when it's time to rent a shop. You've now stored up your money. You know that you create a separate account for your business. Always do that, create a separate account for your business. Even if you are not at the point of getting SIN number and all those things yet, just have a separate account first. Let's even first start there, please. So, you know how to also do that. And that way it helps you structure and to grow and to build. And then finally, always move with, what is presently in vogue. Like, for example, there's AI now, There's a lot of things. Social media marketing is very different now. Please don't stay rigid. Please don't be backward. Don't stay in 2018. Come to 2026. And I believe if you follow all these steps, whether you're already running your business or you're about to start, it will definitely help you to evolve and to grow as a business owner. Thank you very, very much.
This was so relatable. Thank you so much, Jennifer. That was really, really a great session. But I have one question, please, before you go. So you've spoken so much about how you started. You've made it so relatable that, one can actually take lessons from your business and startup. But I want to ask one question. What helped you really stay consistent while you were building your brand, despite all those challenges and everything you faced?
Okay, so the thing is, when you know why you started, it's really important to know why you have started whatever it is that you start. Because whether it's a 9 to 5 that you get into, or is a stay-at-home mom, or is a business that you start, it gets challenging at some point. Life is not a bed of roses. So when you know the why, you know that this is what you want to do with this craft. I feel so happy, like whenever I make dresses for events for someone and they wear it and I see how they express the joy they feel and everything, it just gives me a lot of fulfillment. So every time I feel like, let me just abandon this and let me just leave it, and it's getting really difficult. And then you get some people, you even like, some people even contact you later and be like, oh, I forgot to tell you, thank you so much. I really like my dress. When I went out today, everybody was like, oh, it's so beautiful. And you know that, oh wow, the reason why you started this thing is actually manifesting. You are putting smiles on people's faces and impacting lives. So why stop? Let's keep pushing. Let's push a bow beyond these challenges. So I think that will really keep you going.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Sheba. Sheba is my full name. Most people call me Sheba. I run a branding company called Serifix, and I also run an architecture firm, Ganeta Africa. And like Hope said, I do enjoy helping entrepreneurs grow. Mainly because I didn't find it easy when I started as well. I started with zero capital, and I spent a whole 4 years trying to figure it out. So I didn't want that kind of situation for a lot of entrepreneurs coming behind me. So I said, you know what, let me actually make this a thing. And just last year, I started Entrepreneurs Cabin officially. So I guess with my years of experience in business since 2018 till now, I'm able to share a couple of things with you guys. I know I do have limited time, so I made my notes quite punchy. But feel free to ask further questions. If there's more time, then I can answer questions. So I have a question for you guys first. And I want you to first of all think about the difference between a business that grows, that is growing, and a business that just keeps you busy. Have you ever thought about that before? What does that look like in both situations? You can drop in the chat, but just think about it. So essentially, when a business grows, obviously, there is a visible change in scale, and it could be in different forms. It doesn't have to be financial. A lot of people always think that business growth is always financial, but then there are other aspects of your business that do need to grow for the entire organization to actually grow together. But then when your business starts to feel like a chore, or you start to feel stagnant, that's what I would categorize as you just staying busy. Because staying busy and growing, there are two different things. You could be busy doing different things in your business and nothing is working. And the reason why, obviously, that situation could happen is because of two things. The first one is one that most entrepreneurs in Nigeria right now know about, which is the foundational structure of your business. So how your business is set up legally, financially, and essentially your brand. But then most people forget about operations, day-to-day running of the business, because in as much as you've set the foundation and you've launched the brand, you need to actually keep the engine running. You need to keep the business running. And that's actually the crucial part. That's actually what determines whether your business is successful or not, or whether you fail or not. And you've heard some reports that, in the first 5, most businesses in the first 5 years fail, stuff like that. In order for you to actually get out of that phase, you definitely have to consider how your business is running. So when it comes to the business foundation, I'm sure most of you guys know this. You have limited liability company, you have the business name, trustees. I wouldn't spend my time explaining what those mean, but you considering where you fall under in each of these categories is really important, because it directly affects what your financial responsibilities or liabilities are like. So for example, if I register as an LLC, I know that my tax obligations are different from when I register as a business name. That obviously translates to how I would handle my cost structure when I'm costing my products. That's what will determine what my savings is like for the business. Again, if there's anything that I mentioned that I'm not speaking on too deep, you can ask questions on them. But your business structure itself, how you actually register your business, determines how your business starts to run. Then once you leave the legal and financial aspect of things, you then look at your brand. One thing I've noticed is that a lot of business owners, you have, say for example, you're selling clothes and you want to sell clothes to you have the audience that you sell clothes to people that buy clothes for cheap. So 5,000 t-shirts, so that's like a demographic. And you have high-end clothes as well. So clothes that you sell for like 100K, 200K, and you categorize that as the premium clothes. But then it's still one business that is selling both products. How exactly do you structure that? That's what I mean by structuring multiple products as a brand. Most times, what most business owners would do is to split it all completely. And what that does is you're having to manage 2 different books. You're having to manage 2 different tax responsibilities. You're having to hire 2 different sets of staff. And that becomes overwhelming for you over time. Whereas you could actually still have everything under the same brand, using a proper brand architecture to structure things. These are some words that I would want you guys to note down, so I could explain them much deeper once I've gone through everything if I have more time. So after looking at structure for your brand, then you now start looking at your financial structure. How many of you guys actually do proper budgeting before you start spending? Especially service-based businesses, I'll still address product as well, but when a client pays for logo design, they pay you 250K. And the logo design project is to last for 4 weeks. How many of you here would have spent that 250K in the first week? Be honest with yourself. You can confess here now. How many of you would have spent that money? Now that 250K, this is how I would structure things. 1 second. This is how I'll structure it. Sorry. Sorry, the lights just came on, so I don't want the fan to disturb. So this is how I'll structure mine. That 250,000 naira is, I would have obviously done my proper costing. So say 150K out of it is my cost of my labor cost, and the other 100K is my profit, which even as a service business, you should have that cost system. That's mostly popular in products, right? You spend 5,000 naira to make one shoe and then you have profit on it. It's the same thing with service as well. You have you yourself as the logo designer, you have your laptop, you use internet, you probably use a workspace while you're designing that logo. Those are costs of rendering that service. So you have all of that cost 150K, and then your profit on it is 100K. You see that 100K profits, right? That is where my focus is in terms of budgeting, because that is the money that I've added on top of labor costs that would allow me to have that bandwidth to scale and grow financially. Because from that 100K, I can decide to take 50% of that as a reserve fund. A reserve fund is essentially like an investment or a savings for a business. So it's essentially a reservoir of money that you save for either rainy days or you save for bigger projects. Maybe you want to finally scale, hire a staff, you want to participate in a campaign to get more reach. Those things typically take bulk money. So over time, when you consistently put money in your reserve, you start to pile up money for bigger things, and then you pretty much just have that spike in terms of your skill. So I can say 50% of that 100K is going into my reserve, and I can put my reserve into an investment portfolio. so that the money is actually working for me. It's just going to be there. I have no purpose for it yet, but I'm just adding to it. And then the remaining 50% I can use for, say, internet. I can use to hire a video editor for myself to help me edit videos that I'm using to advertise my logo design service. I can, gather that and build enough money for me to hire my first team. Right. This is exactly how I actually grew from zero to whatever I'm earning right now, because I didn't start with any money at all. From my very first client, I did not spend everything. So that ability to put financial structure to your business is really crucial. So this serves as the foundation of your structure. And then we now move into the next thing, which is the engine, which is usually what I call operations. And that's how you're now running day to day. Now, you see this whole process I just explained now of financial budgeting for your business. It would be hectic for you to have to manually track and consistently do it. And that's where your operations come in, because I should have a system in place where I do not have to manually do that calculation every single time. And that's why you have budgeting tools, right? You have budgeting tools. The basics of basics, obviously, Excel or Google Sheets, but then you have budgeting tools like Areeta, for example, and the other ones that exist out there. And that helps you to say, okay, anytime I actually get paid for a job and I, put apart 100K that is profit, I just slot in the number somewhere and the rest just calculates itself for me. And I know how much I'm putting in my reserve. I make the transfer. I know what I'm putting in my buckets for salary. I know what I'm putting in my buckets for labor, which is where I would pay myself from, which is the 250,000 naira, right? So having that system that is somewhat automated is what would allow me to effectively run day to day. Now, this is just an example because this also applies to other aspects of your business, even in the logo design process as well. It's the same thing. My process of designing logo, I should be able to step by step write that process down. What's the first thing I do? Do I research first? And the next thing is probably present my research ideas to clients. Whatever the steps are, noting them down, that's the first step. So as somebody who is just starting to document processes, obviously you cannot just sit down one day and document everything. You're going to get overwhelmed. This is something that usually takes time. So what I usually advise is that the moment you resume work in the morning and you have a specific task that day. So my task that day is to make shoe. I got an order from a client, from a customer, and I need to produce the shoe. That's my task for that day. Instead of just going straight into producing that shoe, I will just take 15 minutes of that day to first of all write down the process of making that shoe before I now start executing it. That's the barest minimum for documenting step-by-step processes. So once I've been able to do that, the next question now would be, where do I store these steps? Because remember, your goal at this stage is to actually scale. You're going to hire as you grow. You're going to optimize your processes to make it faster. If you're taking 5 days to make a shoe, how can I make it 1 day? How can I make it 2 days? Because you definitely want to be able to supply 1,000 shoes at some point from 10 shoes. So the next question will be, where do I store this step by step? And that's when you have project management tools that help you to store and track your SOPs. They're actually called SOPs, standard operating process procedures. They're called SOPs. And you have project management tools that you can store this in. My favorite is ClickUp. That's the one that I use the most. But there are other tools like Asana, there's Jira, there's Monday.com. And even if you don't want to use those advanced project management tools, you can start with things like Google Doc, for example. Even though at some point that Google Doc will still get overwhelming. I'm not like, it's a good start, but it can still get overwhelming. Or you can, use Google Docs. Some people use Google Drive to store their documents that have procedures on how they do things. And what that means is that you're going to have to know how to structure those Google Drives, because you can't just dump files inside Google Drive. It's going to be difficult for you to track them. So if you're starting with that, have a good file directory. So a file directory pretty much means you create a folder for Shade and Co. Inside Shade and Co, you have 5 departments. Even though you are the only one, put the 5 departments there. You have your finance, your marketing, your sales, your production, 4 folders. Inside each of those folders, you can then put the SOPs in there and other documentation that comes with that particular team. So by the time you now enter the third stage, which is now figuring out which talent you need for each of those steps and actually getting them on the team and delegating to them, it's going to be easy for you. So if I know that in the process of making that shoe, I need to cut the leather first, right? And before I've been cutting it, right? And I don't want to cut anymore. I just want to someone is unmuted, sorry. I just want to assemble. I don't want to cut. So I want to hire someone to do the cutting. The way I do my cutting would have been documented. So I know that, okay, at this point, I want to bring in someone who's an expert, who knows how to use the cutting machine well. So that way, when the person is coming on board, I just pretty much give them that documentation. Okay, this is how I do it. If you have extra ideas and stuff, feel free, you're welcome, discuss with me, we can adjust things. And then they start working. So what that does is it reduces your time that you're spending on hiring and firing, reduce the amount of time you spend on training a staff, because these are the things that pile up to hinder your growth. Because if you consistently hire and fire, and you consistently you're doing onboarding and you're spending a whole month for onboarding, you have wasted 1 month of the entire year. By the time you pile all those time and those effort, that energy, it's going to sum up to a huge chunk of time that you could have used to do something valuable for your business, which is you as the founder making sure that business grows. Because you as the founder of that business, your focus is actually to come up with strategies, come up with tactics, do research, find out what's going on in the market so that you know what exactly you can do to push your business forward. In 2026, if you're a graphic designer and you're not thinking of what to do to get you to survive this AI regime that is going on, imagine you're spending your time fighting with some collaborator that you're working with, or you're spending your time still designing logos by yourself alone. How much time would you use to actually do this research, to come up with strategies to help you to scale? So that's the 3 stages in pretty much figuring out your engine. So I'll just go by it. Pretty much knowing how your work is step by step and writing that down. Now the next one is where exactly you're documenting that process. I made my recommendation of using a project management tool because that helps you to easily delegate by the time you start hiring. But you can always use Google Doc, you can always use Google Drive to store things, that's fine. And then the third step is now knowing which talent you need for specific aspect of that entire process. And that way you can start to delegate little by little to eventually get your hands off of day-to-day work 100%. What I've just shared with you is exactly how I scaled. Right now, I have a team of 13 people at my branding company, and we're 8 at my architecture firm. As I am right now, they're currently doing analysis. They're calling the customers of one of our clients that we're doing strategy for. I'm not the one doing that call. If I was doing the call, I would not be here. I won't be able to impact you guys today. So one thing I'll say from this segment is with a structured business essentially is you getting a customer, knowing exactly what to do first, and eventually being able to build a team around it. While an unstructured business would be you getting that customer and figuring out what to do in that moment, leaving things chaotic and eventually losing a team that you hire. I've experienced that as well. Back when I was in school, I lost the first 3 people on my team at my branding company. I actually lost them and I actually stopped the entire organization. I didn't want to come for like a good year before I came back to it. So that's why I put these 2 notes here, because really crucial. So you understand the picture of what a structured business should feel like and what an unstructured business feel like. So if your business right now is chaotic, that means you need to start looking at these things that I've shared. So to round things up before I take questions, I have 5 key things, 5 key reasons why structure matters, because that's the title of my topic. So I decided to use that to round up. So number 1, it protects you. Now, because you have settled down to understand the different business structures, and you now figure out how you're going to register your business. By the way, Areeta handles TAC registration as well. So you've consulted the right people. You now know what legal structure is around your business. It protects you as a person, you as a founder, protects your personal assets, protects your liabilities, protects you yourself from how your business runs, especially if you're running your business with co-founders or you eventually get investors So you are literally protected because from the ground, from the foundation, you have set this in place. I think I'll give an example. So imagine a situation where you're starting a business and you have two co-founders. You're bringing in two people to co-found with you. Say you've had the idea for a while, you've been running it quietly, and like, you know what, for me to go public, well, I need to actually bring in two other people who would co-found with me to make this better. They have their own specific skill sets. You have your own skill set. So three of you are handling different things. And naturally, what you would think is everybody gets equal stake in the company because, you know, we are co-founders, right? That's what most people do. But when you speak to a legal expert, they will tell you not to do that. Now, what is usually advised, again, please don't take this as straight up advice, so still consult a legal expert. But what you would most likely hear them say is the person who owns that idea should have controlling stake in the company at the beginning. One of the three of you has to have controlling stake, because when you eventually get investors, all your stakes will dilute. And if all of you guys are having equal stake, there's a high chance that by the time you keep getting investors, your investors will start to have controlling power of your company and not you. So this is what I mean by having structure actually protects you. So from the onset, speak to consultants, get their advice. How best can I protect my business in the future based on how I structure it right now? So it's not just about CAC registration alone, right? You have to think for that as well. Then the next thing I put here is that it makes you credible. So when your business is structured, and this, in fact, this is what helped me to start charging over ₦1 million for projects at my branding company. If I used to charge like 3,000 naira, 7,000, I think I was able to get like 50K. And then I knew that can also sustain the agency I'm trying to build. So I put some more structure in business. I actually rebranded, launched. At that time, we launched our website. So everything was looking, you know, organized and put together. And that was how I got my first international clients. So it actually makes you credible. Clients, partners, investors, they actually treat you like KPMG and not like Shadi, right? So there's a level of respect that comes with that you don't get if you're just on Instagram. Oh, I sell shoes. You don't get that kind of respect with, oh, I sell shoes. Then the third thing is it creates consistency. So when you have documented processes, what that means is that even if I have 5 logo designers or 5 shoemakers on my team, the quality of the output is still going to remain the same. Everybody's shoe will have the same quality. Everybody's logo design will have the same quality. So that way you have confidence in your team. You don't have to be the one to keep doing it for life. I mean, would you want to be designing logos for the next 10 years? I don't expect anybody to want to design logos or be making shoe by hand for the next 10 years, right? So even though you delegate to your team, that consistency in the output is still there. Then the fourth thing I have here is it allows you to grow. So if you don't have a structure in place, you cannot hire. Like, even though you eventually get somebody, they would leave in the next, in fact, I won't even surprise they leave in the next 1 week because they don't have any sense of direction. As if think of it as you working as an employee in a bank, for example. You are there because of your career. You are there because of your growth. That's also how the people you're hiring to are thinking when they come to your organization. If they cannot find a sense of purpose, if they cannot find a sense of direction within your organization, then they have no reason to stay there. They leave. So in order to avoid that kind of situation, you put structure in place, and also structure that also covers your team as well. How exactly do you care about your team? Is it that you have health insurance packages? Do you have regular training for your staff? Just something that, you know, pretty much considers their own career growth as well, so that they actually stay on the team. I have people who have worked with me for up to 5 years and they're still there. They've not gone anywhere. No matter what other projects they're doing, they still say they want to stay. So when you have that kind of structure around your business, your new hires can work well, your existing team can work well, partners are also working well, everybody grows. And that's also a good point, because if your team is growing, your company is growing. And the last tip I have here is it gives you time back. And this is currently the stage I'm in right now. I was on leave yesterday. I took my sister out for her birthday and everybody was doing their work. It was a Friday now. Friday is work day. Me, I took leave on Friday. I said I want to rest. I've been working and working and working. Send me rest. So I took my sister out for her birthday. And I enjoyed myself. I didn't do anything. So I'm taking my time back, right? A structured business essentially allows you to not have to be present for everything. Not that you now become lazy. Yeah, those are two different things. You are only just making sure that things are running. It's not as if you're being lazy, because you still have your own work to do as a founder. You need to get that business from one stage to another. So as I am right now, I'm thinking of which investors I should go to, which project I should start. Because even though I've delegated stuff to my team, I'm not crossing my leg, right? So when I say that it gives you your time back, it means that it gives you control of your time. So nobody else is dictating what exactly you have to do. Clients are not telling you what to do. Your customers are not telling you what to do. You are determining what you want to do to make your business grow. So that is everything I have for you guys today. I tried to make it really short. I hope that's okay.
Thank you so much, Sheba. That was really an insightful session. I have a question, and I know that many of us also have a question, so would really appreciate it if you can unmute and then ask accordingly so that we can get answers to that. And I guess Jennifer is still around, hopefully, and so you can address your questions to any of the speakers. So my question to you, Sheba, before Precious come up, you made mention about structure, and you emphasize the importance of having a structure, which is very beautiful. But I want to ask, for some business owners who might have started maybe a year or two into the business and do not have a structure, like they do not currently run a structure. So how would you advise, or what would you advise them to do, like to begin having that structure to help their business grow?
So there's one thing that I said in one of my videos on Instagram, that the best time to put structure in place is before you start. But then the best time to solidify that structure is as you're running. So even if you put the structure in place when you start, as you run the business, things will still change. You're still going to look at your process and say, okay, I can cut this part out of the process so that it's shorter. I can increase what I want to put in as reserve so that I can achieve a specific financial goal. Things will still change. So as somebody who is already running the business, your business is already existing and things are currently chaotic, it's just for you to still go back, just behave as if you're just starting and just go back to the foundation. First of all, start documenting processes. That way you know where there is a loophole that you need to fix, and then you fix it. So if the loophole is with your team structure, by the time you start documenting processes, see what the organization actually does, you will know that, okay, I hired this salesperson, but they are not actually really doing anything, and you can fix that. So the process is not different whether you are starting or you're scaling or you've already started running the business. You just need to start making that conscious effort to start putting those structures in place little by little. Again, it is not something that you do once, that you just sit down one day and do everything. No. If you do it that way, you're going to be overwhelmed. I'm telling you from experience. I tried it, it didn't work. I gave up after like 5 hours. I spent 5 hours. I've not even gone far. I was writing and writing and writing. It doesn't work that way, right? So you actually build the structure as you run the business. So it's pretty normal if you have already started. There's no issue. Just make sure you start carrying out that activity of putting the structure in place.
All right, thank you so much for that response. Okay, we have someone here. Precious, please, can you unmute and ask a question and then address it to which of the speakers you want to address it to? Thank you.
So thank you so much. Thank you so far. So my question is to Sheba, and please, Sheba, I need you to expatiate, whatever the word is, on this having to cost your service and your profits. And then how there's a way you put it. So you talked about when you are paid like 250K, 150 is like, you just said okay, well, like something like 150 should be like your cost for your service or for your product, and then probably the 100K your profit, and how you divide it. Now the 100K profit, right? Is it that from that 100K profit, it's not like so does it mean that your salary is there, both yourself and your staff, your some other expenses, because there's a way you kind of put it, I understand, but I just need you to
Okay.
I don't know if you got my
what's the fastest way to I understand your question. Okay, so I'm going to start with the formula first. So the normal costing pricing formula, right? You have your cost plus profit equals your selling price. That's the basic, right? But then your cost is actually broken down into a couple of things. So you have your direct cost, your indirect cost. So your direct cost would be the exact material that is being used to produce the end result, which is what you're selling. If that ingredient is not there, the product is not going to exist. That's your direct cost. Then your indirect cost would be things like electricity, transportation. Maybe you sent somebody to go and buy fabric and then they bought sweet on the day, something like that. Like it's not a factor that determines whether the product would come out or not, but it probably makes it faster or just makes it easier. That's your indirect cost. So those two is what determines your cost. So when you're pricing, that's where you actually start from. So you see the words I actually use. So if we carry that to service now, what will be the direct cost? Someone charged for a logo design. If the logo is not designed, there is no logo at the end of the day. So your logo design fee is your direct cost. It's like internet is indirect in the sense that you have internet, you always use internet every day. Whether you have internet or not does not affect the end result of the logo, right? It says that you still have internet, it's always there. So it's not directly for that particular client request. So that's how it is in service. So that costing is most of the time when labor is for service businesses, not the profits. When I mean labor, I mean workmanship. Because if you're selling shoes as well, if you're doing your costing, because if you have if you're selling furniture, for example, if you have an artisan that is helping you to build, if you design it and an artisan is building it, both of you are labor. So that's a direct cost. So it's the same thing as well in service. The money that you're gathering small from all the furniture you sell to pay the carpenter is the same way it is in the service-based business. So each logo designer that you work with, whether it's you or somebody else, their money is in that cost, labor cost. So that profit you're adding on it is for the company, not the person or the raw material. It's for the company, because as a company, you still need to sustain the company. Your company is a separate entity from you. You might pay yourself, but your company has zero in the bank, meaning you cannot do marketing, you cannot do campaigns, you can't get a stand at an event to advertise your product, because you literally don't have any money left after you have paid all the expense or everything regarding creating what you're selling. So that's why you now have your profit added to it. Now, this profit you're adding to it is called gross profit in accounting, because in accounting there's gross and net. I don't want to make it confusing, so just know that it's gross profit, which is your entire profits. So that 100K I was referencing was me saying, okay, if I charge meaning my selling price is 250K, that means I'm splitting that between cost and profit. So I gave the illustration of I have my labor cost as 150K, and then I have my profit as 100K. Now you see that profit I added, I can't do anything with it. I'm the one that will determine how I'm going to use that money. So, but I'm now just giving you guys advice on how best to structure that, because you can waste it. You can literally just spend it on anything and it's gone. So you're back to square zero where you didn't have any money for the company itself. I don't know if I'm clear. Let me know if you understand that first before I delve into the profit.
I'm understanding. Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. So that profit now, you can use it to do anything. I personally would prefer to push that money into things like marketing expense or and reserve, because as a service business, those two things are crucial to me right now. If you have an office space, you probably would want to consider gathering money for your rent from there, right? It really depends on how you want to structure it. So, but you see that reserve, to me, is the most important thing, because I personally don't like the idea of spending everything that you earn. Have some money that works for you. You're not supposed to see money as a god. See money as an employee as well. So you see that reserve, no matter what the percentage is, that reserve must be there. In the sense that money, I invested somewhere that is giving me returns. So even if I don't get clients that month, money is still coming into the business. There's still revenue. So that's why I always leave that reserve. That reserve must be there compulsorily. So that was what I was explaining earlier. But your gross profit, you can budget it however you want, but just have a way to track it. I prefer to use percentage to track and budget that gross profit I add, because that way it's easy for me to just have an Excel sheet or whatever tool you want to use and just percentage. And every time you put in the figure, it just calculates at the end of the month to add up. You can end an entire year, and if I don't even disclose small, the returns I got from the entire reserve funds from last year was about 1 point something million. And that's money from not doing anything, just the money working for itself. That's why I like reserve. So it's very important.
Okay, thank you, Sheba. I'm Precious. I hope you understood it.
Yes, I do.
Okay, very lovely presentation, Sheba. And I think
Thank you.
my question is about people that have already started their business, right? And I think for a couple of people here, they're already running their businesses, and they might be actually interested in putting some level of structure to things. But then there are also a couple of people that feel that structure comes with additional expenses, right? Probably you might need to hire some more hands and all of that. So what do you think the advice would be for people with thoughts like that?
In a different way.
Let's just make up a scenario then. Let's make up a scenario. So let's say I mean, a couple of people here are solopreneurs, right? They're doing their things on their own, and they're actually looking to scale, right? That means, of course, they need to bring in some other person. And let's say they need somebody that would be responsible for like a sales, let me not say sales representative. Let me say a marketer, for example, or somebody. All right, let's say the lady that does graphic design, right? She wants to scale. So she needs another designer, right? To join her business. Okay. And in order to do that, she might have to employ somebody, but she doesn't have the money to do that, because this is if you tell somebody that they need to they can delegate, right? The first thing that comes to mind is I might most likely have to employ somebody and start paying salary, but they're not making enough to be able to do that, right? So what would be your advice for people in that kind of space? They're looking to scale, but then they don't actually have the money to actually employ somebody for that purpose. Yeah.
Okay, so let me start with this. I don't pay monthly salary, which is conventional, right? Conventional monthly salary. I don't pay monthly salary, and I've still not seen the need for me to do that yet. And you gave the example of a graphic designer. As someone rendering a service business, the very first compensation method you ever hear is per project. Because in graphic design, you get a project, bring all hands on deck, we all work on that project, get paid, share the money, and we go, right? That's what usually comes to mind if you don't want to do monthly salary. But the problem with that is this person that you're bringing in now becomes more like a collaborator and not necessarily part of the organization, which is the problem that I had when I wanted to start. Because remember I said I didn't start with capital, I didn't have money, I was in school. Highest 5K allowance, food allowance for the week, and that was it. So what I did was I did some study, and I saw that there's actually a thing called contractors. So contractors are people that you pretty much contract work to on a consistent basis. But then I spoke to my lawyer and I asked that, okay, if I want these contractors to have a long-term agreement with me, what would that look like? And she said, in law, it's called a contract of service. So in that kind of structure, the contractor is rendering service to the company's clients as part of the organization. That's contract of service. So she structured the entire agreement, instead of drafting an employment agreement, she drafted a contract of service. So essentially what that states is, for if I'm bringing in somebody for logo design, for every logo design project, they're going to be entitled to say 200K per project. And the funny thing is, a lot of Gen Zs now, I mean, let me use that phrase, freelancers in our generation actually prefer that system over a monthly salary, standard company structure that, you know, has always been there, because then they get flexibility. And if you want to operate like that, you can, in fact, you do not even have one tiny bit of no structure at all, because you're dealing with people that, you know, you're paying on a project basis. It's not a full-time employment. So you can't say they can't work for anybody else. You can't say, oh, they have to resume a particular time and close a particular time. It's a contract of service. You're engaging them as a freelancer. They're just on a long-term contract with your organization. So that structure on how you do things on a daily has to be there, because that's the only way you can actually get them to do the work and give you results. So it's like a compromise thing. If you don't have the money to pay a monthly salary, you have to make it work, right? And you sacrifice something to make it work. So what you're sacrificing essentially would just be that full-time employment thing where they clock in 8 a.m. and they go 5 p.m. and you know that they're in the office with you, whatever you're doing that day, you're doing. That's what you're just letting go of, which so far I've been running for about I've been running when I restarted my brand. That's 2020. That's about 6 years now, and it's been going very fine. Not had any issues. So that's one option. But then for product businesses now, it becomes tricky because making of shoe and selling of shoe is not project. It's just you just consistently keep making and selling shoes as you have money. So what you can do in that kind of situation is something called salary on engaged months. So, but this one you have to be clear when you're putting out your job ad. Don't put out and say you are employing. Say you're looking for volunteers to work with you, and they're going to be compensated on the months when they actually have work to do. So what that means is that if you know that you have money in January, you get everybody on ground, they do stuff in January, you pay them for January. If business is slow in February and there's no money, you yourself as the founder, you would have to make that sacrifice to come back in, build that money back up, and then engage your team again. That's one very flexible way that I've tried. I've not seen that anywhere. I've not seen that online. I don't know if it's like a proper legal structure, but I've tried that before and it worked. So I did that for when I had short-term projects or campaigns where the campaign is running for 3 months, and you know, I know maybe I'll need the person the first month and the third month, maybe not the second month. I just we draft a contract for that, and it stated clearly there that when they're engaged, then my branding company, we don't do month-on-month content creation like every other organization, because most of our clients don't come from Instagram. They come from networking, our website, stuff like that. So I actually do not need a video editor to be editing videos every single month of the entire year. So what I do is I have him on contract. Every single month you edit content, you're paid a certain amount. So it's kind of similar to the project basis kind of thing, but it's just by engagement. So if in the first quarter of the year we have a campaign we're running and we do have to, you know, post videos online, he's obviously assigned work to do and he gets the job done within those months. After the campaign has ended, he can do other things he's doing. And that's one of the I said that sacrifice is there, because you cannot, in that kind of structure, you cannot say they should only work for you. How will they feed when you don't have projects? And do you understand? So that's how I've been able to do it. Again, I consulted my lawyer for this. I didn't just wake up one morning and just say I'm doing it, because I also don't want it to be a problem. So my advice would be get an expert. And funny enough, lawyers are not, how do I put it? There are nice lawyers out there. How I got my lawyer, I saw her Instagram video. I liked her content. I sent her hi on Instagram. I told her I liked her content. I like how she speaks. She's really, really fluent. She's really knowledgeable. And we just became close from there. And she was able to give me 1 or 2 free consultations from there. And since I met her, she has been my lawyer and I've had it. So your helper could be one ask away. They may send you a 15-minute voice that will answer your question. It doesn't have to be that deep. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that was very, very relatable.
Okay,
I think
thank
Precious
you.
still has a question.
Yeah, I can see that too. Precious, please, what's your question?
Okay, so thank you very much again, Shiba. Thank you, the host. So my question regarding this is that now when you get them contracted, there are times where they need to be on ground for like projects. Obviously, they are working with other people. So how do you get them to still come on ground, like physical, maybe for like a physical meeting or physical meetup with a client and all of that? Meanwhile, they have probably other engagements. Do you get? So say for example now, you have like a client event, right? And then they need to be on, maybe your photographer, your videographer need to be on ground on that day. And is a contract and probably is now on another, he has another event. How do you, stuff like that? I don't know if you get the question. How
Okay,
do you get a
so
contracted staff to be on
yeah,
ground, maybe for physical meeting, for physical meetup and all?
so this is why I said that if you don't have the funds to employ full-time staff, there's going to be some sort of sacrifice one way or the other till you get to the point where you can. It's very normal. So you yourself that hired this person and you know that they have other engagements, you're cool with that. When you are planning these projects, take control of the time. So I'll give an example. I started a time project recently and I closed the client, say maybe April 1st. And I told the client that our next available start date is April 7th. That's an example. So I have from April 1st to April 7th to get everybody on deck. Also prepared for the project because remember we have an operating system. So I would have to create whatever the team needs to work on that project down so that they have what to work with. So I have that 7 days to do all of that. In that 7 days, making sure that everybody's calendar is matching up. And one thing I would say is that I'm a very observant person. So I know what everybody's calendar is like. I know the person who is an engineer that probably is on site from 8 to 5. And I know that she's cool with working at night. That's her choice. She's the one who stated by herself that she's cool with working at night. I won't force that person to join 8 a.m. meeting. You get what I'm saying? So I have everybody's calendar. I know what their life looks like. And I plan around that. So that's number one. Number two, there has to be compromise. If this person joined your team, definitely they want to do the work that they're doing. Most times in the design space, the reason why a lot of freelancers still work with agencies, even though they have a 9 to 5, is because that's their passion. They don't like what they're doing in their 9 to 5. Your organization is their safe haven. So most of the time, they all just are excited to come to work, right? When it comes to physical stuff, even though everybody is working as a full-time staff, you still have to plan logistics around it because even your clients too may not be available. So that one is just normal logistics planning, right? Especially if you're in event space, you cannot avoid logistics planning, like at all. You can't avoid it, whether it's full-time staff or contract staff. You can't avoid it. You might even be partnering with another company. So maybe you're handling event coordination. Another company is doing physical branding. They're the ones that will come to put the banners and everything. They are another company. You still have to plan your logistics around their own timing as well. So it's just proper time management. That's the answer.
Okay, so I'll just take two more questions. I see Mariam dropped the question. So yeah, Mariam, if you can hear us, please kindly state who you're addressing these questions to, and we'll have it done. So this question from Mariam and one more question for myself, but I'm going to address this to Jennifer. Just one more question, and this question I think summarizes everything you said during your session. So I'd like to ask, what would you say is one mistake many young entrepreneurs make when they are trying to turn their ideas into a business? What is that one mistake that they make from your own experience?
Okay, so I think one very key mistake is not breaking down the idea. Sometimes the idea might be very ambiguous, and sometimes as creatives we can dream to the end from just thinking about the inception of the business or the idea from inception. So I think one mistake is not taking your time to break it down step by step and understanding that you can't do everything by yourself. What can you do to start, and who do you need to join the boat to also assist so that you can push the boat forward? So definitely, if you are thinking about starting a business, you might want to sit down, take a notebook and a pen. It's nothing, lucrative or nothing too much or too serious. Write it down. When you write it down and read it to yourself, you see the reality and how you can execute. Most of us, we are dreamers, but we don't really know how to execute very well. So, and that makes it difficult because when you start trying to execute, because you never try to break it down, it looks like it's overwhelming, it's too much. Maybe I should just dump it. It's not working. So try and break your ideas down, write them down, and just really um analyze them. Yes, before you start.
All right, thank you so much for responding to that, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Okay, so the last question here is for Sheba, and I think after this we can wrap it up for the day. So Sheba, Mariam asks, she said, what is something that generally looks like a good opportunity, but is actually a distraction in business? That's the first one. And then the second one is, how do you handle situations where supporting others conflicts with sustaining your business? So I don't know if you got that question and you can just respond to that. Thank you.
Okay. I think number 2 sounds like a question from an experience. I don't know if it's possible for you to expatiate. Supporting others conflicts with sustaining your business. Do you mean relating to friends, or what's that situation like? While you're emphasizing that question, for number 1, I think I'll just give a practical example. So I stopped going for all these events, these creative events. I stopped going for them last year. I think last year was the last time I went for one, Founders Connect last year. And let me not use the word stop, I'll say paused. Because I noticed that every time I go to those events, I end up meeting people like me. People who are also have agencies, they've scaled their agencies, they're just like me. And the people that I need are not people like me. I need my clients. I need people that will pay me for my service, which are a completely different demographic entirely. And the only way I can actually meet those people is if I actually maybe get those events, VIP tickets, or the ticket to access the mixers that happen after those events, which the budget for that is really high. So I'm like, instead of wasting 50K on tickets to attend an event just because it's a good opportunity for me to meet new people, and it's not necessarily bringing anything back for the business, I put a pause on it and said, you know what, let me actually strategize well to actually meet those VIPs. And I know that that's going to bring something to my business, even though it's not cash or money. It could also be connections, access, exposure. So that's an example of something I would say you can do. I don't know the situation. I don't know your type of business or anything. So I'm just using that as a general explanation. So you pretty much look at this particular opportunity. What exactly is the value that it brings to my business? If it is not bringing any value to your business, then there's no point doing it. So I don't know if that answers that question.
Okay, I guess she would respond to that. But concerning the second question, so she said she was referring to conflicts like family and friends and all that. So how do you, handle situations where supporting other conflicts relating to family and friends with sustaining your business?
This is I think I would also like Jennifer to also give her thoughts, because I feel like it's subjective. So me personally, I have very supportive people around me, and I know that that's not the case with a lot of people. So I can't really say to when that support is not there, especially from close people around, friends and family, because I believe that if they are your friends, they should also at least respect that you're trying to build something. But I did have one experience back in school where This was my early days in business. I won't really go too deep, but I had this partnership thing that I did, and one of them, actually, all of them were my friends in school, but two of them were really close to me, my close friends. And one of them, right now, today, she's my accountant. I still work with her. We're still besties, and we work together. But this other lady, she kind of fell off, and I mean, right now, I don't feel it anymore. But it was not really a great time, and I just had to make that hard decision as a founder. So she had her responsibilities as a partner, and she was not fulfilling her responsibilities, but she was claiming entitlement, she was claiming things and being entitled to some certain things, benefits and stuff. So I addressed this with everyone else. So it was not just me who brought it up, and everyone, said the same thing as well. It's like she's just there, she's not doing anything. So I walked up to her and I told her that, see, I understand that you joined in because you're my friend. I do respect that. I'm happy about that. But you're not actually making anything go forward. If not, you're even drawing us back. So I don't mind actually letting you go if you feel like this is not a priority right now. I had that hard conversation, and she took offense by it. And that even just made me realize that I don't even need that person right, because it's a normal thing for you to have other priorities and not prioritize something right now. It's not bad. So her taking offense was like, oh, okay. And it kind of just ended up in a very loud manner. I'm a very quiet person, so I just let her shout, and then I just went. And since then, we've not really had any conversation. I think we stopped speaking after we graduated from school. And that was just it. So that has been my experience. And from that, what I can say is, as a founder, you need to have those hard conversations. Because at the end of the day, you're the one that would answer to your business as to why that business did not grow, or why that business was a success. It's still you. It's not your friend that will come and say, it's like Adam and Eve, right? God gave Adam an instruction. Eve messed up and he followed suit. Who did God ask to answer? It was Adam. So it's the same thing. I don't know if that helps. I would also like Jennifer to also chip in as well, because this is I feel like it's a very subjective topic.
Okay, so what I would just say is, because I've had this experience firsthand, and it's even easy to say, oh, I had to let go of the person because he was a friend. Now imagine if he's a family member that is your family, his family. I've had this experience. So I mean, as a fashion designer, when you start out, normal, a lot of people will be like, hey, just use my clothes and just try out now. Use my clothes and test, so that if your hand is strong in it. Because like, you first start out as, oh, you want to be doing production yourself. That's where most of us start. So I did that for a while. And by the time I now started saying that, oh, I want to start charging and stuff like that, the first rebel I got was, from a family member that was like, no, that even if I charge other people, I'm not supposed to be charging her. It's not right that I'll charge her. I'm not supposed to be charging her because, at least she has been supporting me, encouraging me and stuff like that. So like, for a long time, I combated like, okay, how I was supposed to charge. So when I even started charging, so what I first started doing was, okay, I'll just tell her that, okay, bring money for, mind you, this is not the person that sponsored me to fashion school. Let's drop that one side. Bring money for what I will use to make the clothes, but don't pay anything on top. That was how we first started. So eventually, moving from there, is still now, when I now said, no, I cannot be, because she was making a lot of clothes. Like, I was literally making an entire wardrobe like this, no profits, nothing. So me, I was not like, most of the time I'm occupied with your work. Based on solo entrepreneur now, I'm occupied with your work. So is it not better that you actually add something for me? Let me even know that I'm making something out of this thing. So when I started charging, I would just add like maybe 2,000 naira. That 2,000 naira, that's what I'm giving you, real life situation. That 2,000 naira, 2,500, I know it's embarrassing, but it was years ago and we are learning from each other's mistake. That 2,000 naira is what I will hold as my profits, as what I've made out of the clothes. So she will now make up to like maybe 10 to 15 outfits, is 2,000 naira. Now, when this person is shouting about the cost, how much she's really spending in my business, how much she's investing in my business, you will not believe that, is this money, this 2,000 multiplied by this how many clothes, and these are clothes that this person will wear for a period of time. And so when I was now like, no, this thing is exhausting. Tailoring is, if you've ever made clothes before, you know that tailoring takes a toll on your physical being, your physical body. I was like, this thing is exhausting. You always give me like critical deadlines. Like I've made clothes for straight like the same day you shop for the fabric, cut the clothes, make it, produce it, because this person has somewhere to go the following day or 2 days later and stuff like that. Based on family, we are close. So eventually I was like, no, I cannot be charging this kind of small thing. No, I'm increasing my price. This person convinced me, in fact, to the point that this person was convincing me that I should not even charge other people. Like I shouldn't charge other people, because she didn't want me to now rise up to that place where I'm now charging. Like she was convincing me. And honestly, sometimes when I think about it, it was from the way she just viewed it. It wasn't like she was trying to be a bad person or anything. No, we are still close now. When I think about it, and I'm like, wow. So she made sure that I wasn't even charging. Like when I'm like, I would charge if somebody sees her outfit and is like, oh, who made your outfit for you? And she's like, oh, this person made my outfit too. And the person is like, okay, I want to make with that your tailor too. So when I want to even charge that person, because you have now been put in a cage of charging her small, and I'm like, I want to charge that person, she'll be like, no, that person, would they still agree to pay? Would they still agree to pay? So I feel like in hindsight, the fear was that if I start having a taste of being paid well for the service, I would now want to, on the flip side, also charge her for her own service. So for a while, I believed what she was saying, and I won't even charge other people like that. I would just have maybe 3K, highest 5K and stuff. So it was at a point when I think I attended like a webinar like this and listened to a lot of people in business and all. And I was just like, no. And I was so angry at my finances because I was always so busy, but I can't buy anything for myself. I can't do anything. So one day I audited my business. I audited my life, because at that point I was like, it's like I will quit this thing. And I realized that this was the backbone of the problem. And I didn't know how to approach this matter, because it's the kind of person that when you try to bring up that kind of thing, people will quarrel, and it will become a whole family issue, like extended family, the entire family will have to sit on that kind of matter. So I now decided to set boundaries, and I locked up. I was like, like the person we call and be like, hey, please, I want to make this. And be like, oh, I don't have chance. So, I wish I had chance. I would have just really helped you, but I don't have chance, because I saw it was not good money. The money was not doing anything. There's no need. Till date, till now, like, till there was and this is the kind of person that when you make any mistake, you people will quarrel, they shouting and everything. So till date, I don't make outfit for this person, but I've never told her face to face that this is the reason why I won't make outfit for you, because these are the kind of people that they can get really defensive, and they will never agree that in fact they'll even be like, you are ungrateful when nobody patronized you. I know how I was squeezing out money to give to you to make what you were making. I know how I was trying to make sure that at least you were seeing something when nobody helped you. So because I know that this is the kind of person that gets really defensive and that kind of thing, I don't want a family issue, and I also don't want to lose the relationship we have outside of making clothes. So I told myself something. I said, if it is this one that will maintain peace, then let me take it out of our relationship. So till date, even when she's like, you will make something for me, I'm like, I don't have chance. So as you are seeing me like this now, and no time. And now when she wants to make something, I put the price up, and she'll be like, why is the price like that? And I say, yes, I'm paying tailor now. Now I'm paying some things now. It's not easy now. This Nigerian economy. And before because she has not seen herself as someone that can pay me that money to produce for her, she would just be like, let me leave it. Let me just leave it now. She has another tailor now, and I always encourage her to send clothes to that person. So sometimes, it's not everything that is confrontation. It depends on the person. If you can't let go because of where the person is in your life, find a way. Use wisdom. Find a way to push that person out of your business, so that you can move on with life. If not, you will shut down, and they will continue patronizing another person, and it will shock you. They will pay someone else what they did not pay you before, because some people don't just see you as somebody that should eat that type of money, and it's not because they hate you. They are not bad people. That's just it.